Okay. Dude, it's already a mess. It's already a mess. This, just so everybody knows, this is the first time that we're actually flying solo in the studio because producer Rick has taken a vacation. I don't know if we inspired that. I don't know
if you mean by we inspired, he's sick of us and needs a break.
Well, that too, but maybe like.
Do you mean if it's because we've over-ricked work on all things Team Treviño? Yes.
No, oh my God, he's one of the hardest working people. Like, I've met a lot of hardworking people in my life, and he's definitely way the heck up there now.
And he's so good he's very like producer mode, like always kind of keeps it chill, and even when like shit is hitting the fan, he's still like, okay, yeah.
No,
okay.
he's so laid back about it, but he's a really...
So for Rick to say, I am taking a week, I feel like we need to be really respectful of that and let poor Rick take
That's why I felt bad, dude. I had to text him, like, can you put the logo up?
I
like,
didn't want to...
I'm sorry. I know,
I didn't want to bother him. I was like, you bother him. I don't want to bother him.
But I don't know if maybe it was one of those situations where... we were talking about going on vacation and Gigi was like, hey, what the hell? They're going on vacation. See, Steve can take a break. Now we have to take a break. So I don't know if
well, no, next time we need to plan it better and take the break at the same time.
Well, for a while I had decided, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to show my day to day, right? Mm-hmm. Everything that I'm doing day to day. And I had to stop because I started getting so many people that were like, stop. My wife gives me so much shit because you know me, I'm constantly on the move,
And if they only knew it was just because you were avoiding coming in the house because you had a screaming, crying newborn.
That's not true.
Yes, it's so true. I think that's a part of it.
Renae, baby, I'm that way even before Delilah.
You're a busybody, yes, but I feel like you kind of don't know what to do with yourself inside the house, so you've relegated yourself to staying outside.
Well, no, after I've already mopped, after I've already swept, after I've already cleaned, then I go outside to handle everything outside. And we don't, our house is not, we're on a 1.25 acres, so there's always work to do. So
there is.
I think it's very unfair to you to say that I'm running away from
Well, no, and then this
baby.
morning you're like, I think I would be happier on 2 to 3 acres. I'm like, who's going to maintain 2 to 3 acres? Like,
me.
You're crazy.
Me.
You're crazy. You don't have that much time. And I would rather your time be inside.
I know we've already discussed this on the podcast.
We have already discussed that.
I like being outside. I enjoy being outside. And soon, like Garrett, Delilah will be outside with me.
Yeah.
And I can't wait because Delilah's becoming quite the sweetheart. And I love in the mornings. I wake up so that you can sleep in the morning. I wake up early and I get her for her
First bottle of the day,
and she's like so happy, and she does the stretch. She stretches, and I just love it's the cutest thing in the world, and I love it. So
she's so great in the morning.
You're taking me off my game. How come?
Oh, sorry.
How come we moved that? Why did we move that?
Oh, I'm afraid. Well, I am so self-conscious about things now. I'm afraid to get up out of my chair because then people see my big old booty. I am never wearing.
You want me to do it?
Yes, please.
Okay, I will do it.
I'm also never wearing white pants on a podcast again. I learned my lesson on that one.
Why didn't you like the white pants?
Well, no, I just thought it was like... I was wearing white pants. We were talking about why I have not lost weight. And then I was hungry and haven't eaten. So I'm shoving food in my mouth the whole episode. It was bad.
Well, no, but that's exactly, it's so funny that, earlier you go, what are we going to talk about? And I go, I got it. I didn't read the comments. I don't know if anybody commented anything. I didn't read them. Did you read them?
Well, no, I just like to have a sense of like kind of what people thought of the last episode so we can, if we need to make any adjustments moving forward on the next episode, we can.
Well, I did read the comments. And first of all, so many great comments. I love when people say this podcast made my day. Yeah. It helps me get through work faster.
I love when people are like, same thing. They're like really excited about it. And they're like, I was struggling or I was upset about this and just like laughing and being silly. Cause I feel like what we do is kind of silly and frivolous. So if it helps people in that way find a little laughter.
We're a show, right? People, it's like entertainment. People want to hear our conversations. Just
even the one person every episode who watches the whole thing, but then still clicks the unlike button. That one
we
cracks
still have
me
the
up.
same amount of unlikes, which is hilarious. But
I think it's the same person. Yeah. They watch the entire episode and then at the end they hit the unlike button, or I don't like, the thumbs down, whatever the heck it is.
But and it's funny the way you're talking right now, because that's one of the things that I wanted to discuss today was we did receive, and by the way, I don't want to focus on the negative comments, and I don't think that this comment was negative.
No, I just thought it was funny.
No. But what I'm saying is that we are so appreciative of all the positive comments, and we love the positive comments, and like I said, one positive comment keeps us going. Yeah. Right. We could have 50 negative ones, right, but the one person that says, "Hey, we really enjoy what you guys do," it's worth it to us.
Oh, but the rebuttals are pretty damn funny too. Like, remember when I wore the denim jumpsuit with the embroidery on the leg that I was like so excited about?
Some chicks were like,
gross. Someone did not like that jumpsuit. And then I forget what the comment was, but someone chimed back in at them before I had a chance to. And I just think it's funny.
So one of the comments, and I thought it was really interesting, and it's funny that we started this way, because one of the comments, well, let me start off by saying that there's a lot of things that I love about you, right? You're very attractive. You have a nice butt, shitter ass.
I think we said that before on a podcast.
Yes.
Moving right along.
But one of the things that I have always found very attractive about you is your confidence. Your confidence, your thick skin, your ability to take a joke, right? Your ability to have real discussions with me, And so one of the comments was, "Oh my gosh, like, keep that private." Talking about Renae's weight and talking about her workout struggle, and and one of the comments was like, "Oh my God, you shouldn't be doing that, and keep that behind closed doors," and blah blah. And for me, what I want people to know is that I know my wife, and I know how strong you are,
right?
And I know how confident you are, and I know that. I've always been able to make jokes with
about
you
my weight.
About your weight or about your appearance, whether it's the flashy, crazy earrings you wear, or
I forgot to put some on this morning.
Sometimes you wear these crazy onesie outfits with.
I love me a romper.
They're called rompers.
Yeah.
And I'm able to make fun of it, knowing that you have this kind of self-confidence that is very attractive to me.
Yeah.
And my big question is, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I didn't read the comments, so I didn't know we were going to talk about this, but I was thinking about, yes, you gave me a hard time for my weight last week. Oh God, I dreaded that. Why did I wear the damn white pants? And as I'm shoving food in my face, we're talking about my weight because I was really hungry last week. And I didn't think about it, and it didn't really bother me that much, but I did think that I had a moment where I was like, oh, maybe we need to be careful, and we didn't talk about this, but weight is such a struggle for a lot of women very privately, and eating disorders are a real thing. And I personally have never struggled with that, but I know a lot of young girls, and I know a lot of women.
Oh, we all know that you don't struggle with eating disorder. We all know.
My point is, after the fact, I felt a little self-conscious that we were just so like, whatever about it, the way we always are, because
but I truly,
it's a real issue for lots of women,
but
I think more than men.
I also think that it's something worth talking about, right? And that women need to see women like you, right? Women who are able to talk about it openly, right? I mean, we went through this when we had our miscarriage, where it was deeply, deeply personal for me and you. And it was definitely a struggle for you more than me.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't. I've had a lot of loss in my life. Renae has had very little loss in her life.
Yeah.
And it was a deep struggle for us. And we had the pillow talk of, oh my God, how do we handle this? How do we talk about it? Do we not?
You wanted to talk about it right away.
Right.
And I was not ready to. And I also felt like it's very delicate. And not that you didn't go through it, but it was me and my body. And I just felt like you were going to get so much criticism if you didn't talk about it correctly, not because it didn't happen to you, but in a way because you're removed from it in that way.
Sure. And I never worry about, did I talk about something correctly? Because the only thing I
do all the time.
Well, but the only thing that I can do is reach into my heart and try to deliver a message the best way I think I can.
Yeah.
Right. And I always try to do things with compassion, with heart, right? With
I mean, I was more afraid of the criticism you were going to get for whatever you said more than us sharing a story.
But going back to your confidence, and I think that when I do my act and I talk about you, that people see a very strong woman.
Yeah.
They see, to me, it's important to be able to have these conversations in front of people. And obviously it's being filmed and then put out. But, to me, there's something about you that, for the people watching are going, oh my gosh, I can't believe you had that conversation. I know how strong you are. And I know that that you're smart and that that you're beautiful and that you believe in your style. Like you don't care that somebody else doesn't like.
Oh, I love that damn denim romper with the flowers.
Right? Because you have no problem and I think I'm a lot the same way where I don't give a fuck. I don't care what you think. Which, by the way, now I'm real self-conscious because somebody was like, "Hey, last episode, I don't think they said fuck at all." And I'm like, "Well, now I've said it three times." But,
no, I know. I said I gave us like a little cheering emoji, and then someone commented under it. They were like, "Oh no, there goes a shit."
They did, yeah. But to that person, and you're right. And it's going to lead me to my next point of conversation, but the fact that we are able to have these conversations, right? Mm-hmm. And to talk to you as a woman and get the female perspective from you. And to me, I think a lot of people hide how they feel, right? And like you said, they deal with it on their own.
Yeah.
And to hear you come on this podcast and say, hey, I struggle and it's not easy.
Yeah.
And food is hard. And I'm trying to juggle kids and a husband that travels and my business and the Captain Evil brand and all the things that you're doing. I struggle because I can't tell you how many times people have come up to me after a show, sent me a message saying, hey, we're so grateful that you talked about miscarriage.
Oh, yeah.
And that it opened up a dialogue between
husband and wife, right? Because you hold so much in.
So, that's why I think it's important that we do talk about the things that we do and to admire the fact that you are brave enough to get on here and go, it's not easy. I am too self-conscious.
Yeah.
Right. I wasn't happy.
I'll think twice before I wear white pants.
Right. I'm not happy with the way I looked with the white pants. Right.
No, I wasn't.
But again, you were brave enough to do it, and you did it.
Yeah.
Right. So that kind of goes to my conversation.
I survived it.
Well, I don't know what Daddy Raymond and Mama Mia did for you to be such a confident, strong person. And that leads me to how
I think about this with Delilah. Is that where you're going? How do we instill that in Delilah? I think about it all the time. I think it's interesting. I noticed the first thing that you said when you were like, I like lots of qualities about my wife. The first thing you said was, I'm pretty.
But you are.
And I noticed, well, thank you. But I also noticed that in previous podcasts, when you've talked about Delilah, multiple times you have said, she's so pretty.
She's very pretty.
But I feel very strongly that that is not in my head, the way I perceive myself. That's not where I hold my value. My mom always told me growing up over and over again that I was smart. And my dad always told me that I was smart. And my mom would
talked about that.
My mom would even say, she's like, Renae, you are so special because you're not just pretty.
She still said you're pretty. So
she would say things like
smart.
that.
You're pretty and smart.
But my point is, I never, growing up as a little girl, I didn't think that my value was in my looks, and almost to the opposite extreme, right? Like I know this sounds shitty, and it's kind of like me too, and I'm afraid to say it, but like women have value in their looks. For sure. And it can be used certain ways. And I was never even like savvy to that because my parents, it was such the other extreme.
Well, no. And I do know that about you because there's times where you're like, oh my God, they're so nice to me over there. And I'm like, it's because you're pretty. It's because you're good looking. Right. And ultimately, and of course this is shallow. Absolutely. Ultimately, when I wanted to get to know you, it was because of your looks.
Yeah.
right? Ultimately, I looked at this girl and go, man, this girl's hot. Look at that ass, right?
Yeah.
And as we got to know each other, right?
Yeah.
And look, I dated, and just so you know, I dated a lot of pretty girls.
Right.
But they weren't smart. They weren't confident. They weren't strong like you. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm not.
You know what? As we're having this conversation, can I interrupt? I just had like.
Can you interrupt? That's all you do.
Well, no, I just had like a light bulb in my head. Like you talk about how you make jokes and they roll off the cuff and it doesn't bother me. But I'm thinking you've never made jokes about my intelligence on stage. You've never portrayed me,
and I almost did,
stupid on stage, and I think that might bother me. That would bother me more. Like I think they're
right.
Well, first of all, for those of you watching, going, "Oh, really, Renae? She's just a pretty girl. She's Captain Evil." No, Renae graduated from our high school as salutatorian, and had she gotten one extra point from the drama teacher, Renae would have been valedictorian. She graduated high school at 17 years old, went on to have a scholarship at NYU, and graduated from NYU by the time she was 19 years old. So Renae is very, very intelligent.
Was I 19, 20? I don't know. I finished in 3 years.
Finished in 3 years. So just to solidify that, yes, Renae is very intelligent. You know, I used to walk into her bedroom, and finally they got rid of the shrine, but you walk into her bedroom and it was like freaking medals
at my parents' house, my childhood bedroom,
and trophies. Like there was a freaking shelf that went all the way around, and the whole thing was literally.
You forgot about my best all-around girl plaque.
Oh, best all-around girl plaque! Like it was stupid, dude. Everywhere.
Pictures of my old high school prom pictures with my boyfriends
that were gay.
Just slipping it in.
Yeah, that's what I did with you. It's too easy. It's too easy. It's too easy. So, but no, I think we always talk. Well, but then we always talk about the fact that when we first started dating, you would always tell me, well, my mom says I don't need a man. And my mom says that I'm smart. And my mom says that and it was like, okay, great, but you still have to clean around here. And you were young and you were like, well, no, why? Because I'm a woman? I got to clean because I'm a woman?
Right.
And I'm like, no, you have to clean because you live here. That's why.
Because we're both making a mess.
Yeah, because we're both making a mess. I clean, you clean, we live here, right?
Yeah.
But whatever your parents did, seems, and I don't know. Is it the parents? Is it?
I think it's my parents. I think we talk about this all the time. Like children who know they are loved are more confident kids, right? And so the more love you have around you, your grandparents. I mean, my grandpa, I was his world. You know what I mean?
But there's also, we talk about it all the time. Not only were you loved, it's incredible as I got to know you more how sheltered you were.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You had this literally almost a perfect childhood where, it was the big house. It was the no issues with money. You didn't have to clean. And, you were the freaking leader at school, making amazing grades.
There was like a deal with me and my parents. And as long as you were doing what you were supposed to do and you were making stellar grades and you weren't getting into trouble and you were a good kid, you didn't have to worry about anything else. So I didn't have to worry about doing my laundry because use that time to study and make straight A's, And
then you meet me and you have zero life skills. Zero life skills. But whatever was going on in your house, and for me, what I admire most about you is your ability to be strong.
Yeah.
Right. You're not the I got my feelings hurt girl. You're not the afraid girl. Right. In a room with other people, you're not. Somebody says something incredibly inappropriate and you don't drop your jaw.
Because I'm married to you. I'm like callous to inappropriate.
No, but even before, that's my point. You would not have made it in the beginning with me.
Yeah.
Had you not been able to handle heavy conversation, right? And inappropriate conversations.
But I think that goes back to intelligence. Like my parents made me feel confident in the fact that I was smart. And so I feel like I know how to use my words, and that can get me out of, or that can help me handle any situation. So I'm confident when it comes to that way. But if someone, like, if I make a legit mistake and I feel like it wasn't the smart move, if I did something wrong in a way that I feel like wasn't smart, then that's what gets me.
Well, and it's I've never worried about you on your own. That's another thing, right? Like, you know, I'm not worried about you going out with your girlfriends to the bar because I know you're going to make the right decision.
Yeah.
Right. I also know that if somebody hits on you, which happens a lot, fucking good luck. You know, and
no, I think I probably have resting bitch face most of the time, so I don't get hit on that much.
But I remember one of our first dates in Birds. I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast, but you're getting hit on.
I don't think so. I don't know.
But you're getting hit on, and I took a step back and I was like, I'll let her handle it. You know.
Yeah.
I ended up breaking the guy's nose, but I felt like you handle yourself in a way that you're making it clear to this guy, I'm not here with you. Yeah. And I don't want anything to do with you, and I don't even want your drink. Like he was not getting anywhere. And then when I broke his nose, that was the most gangster shit though, wasn't it? He whispers in my ear and he goes, just so you know, little man, I'd fuck you up.
Oh, and the minute he said that, I was like, you just like referenced his height when he said little man. My shoulders just curled up to my ear.
You have no idea what this little man has been through in my life.
Because I was like, we could have stepped back before that. But once he said that, it was like
he took a step back and his buddy goes, is there a problem here? And I looked at his buddy and I go, in about 3 seconds, I'm going to break your friend's nose. And before he could say what, I broke his nose. And he was like 6'3". No big deal. But it
was a long time ago. It was a long time ago. But I was 19.
But to go back to this I know how to raise Garrett.
Yeah.
I know that I want to raise a good man, a hard worker, a man with respect, a man with manners, a man that opens the door for ladies, a man that respects women, a man that's assertive.
So funny that you say that, because what pops into my head is my parents also told me, like, mom was real big on, you speak like a lady. Pretty girls don't say ugly words. And then
you do.
Here they sent me out to NYU, and probably the biggest thing I learned was how to use the F word correctly.
Well, you do well. You do really well.
Yeah.
But I definitely know how to raise Garrett. I already know. I know the things that I want Garrett to be proud of. Right?
Yeah.
And I think that with women, with Delilah already in my head, it's so confusing to me, right? Yeah. Because I do want her to be assertive and I do want her to be confident, but I also want her to be pretty, right? And I want her to care about her appearance. You know what I mean?
But I think she will see both you and I be assertive. And so she'll see that all the time. So. She'll be exposed to that all the time. But
it's also very complicated for the female in this world. It's very, very complicated.
For sure.
It's
I think I know what you're going to say. I feel like I already walk that delicate balance
working with me,
your wife and working with you.
If you're too assertive, oh my God, what a bitch.
Yeah.
Right? If you're not assertive enough, they roll all over you.
Yeah.
Right? So trying to find that line of, well, and also it's difficult, and you know this, finding that line of, I want you to have your career. I want you to have your worth. But I also want you to be okay being a mommy. Because that's part of your life. And that's part of your job. You struggled with that.
I for sure did. I for sure did.
This idea that
I was not ready to be a mom. Because I thought that, you know what, my mom is a very selfless woman, and she's always worked, and that has always been important to her, to have her job, to make her own money, for sure. So she raised me with those ideas. But she was also such a selfless mom. Like, everything she did was for her children. And so I struggle with it on a daily basis. I do want to work, but then I go through phases where I'm like, especially now that Delilah's little and we worked and tried so hard to have her, that there's a part of me that just wants to be a mom in this phase and not worry about anything else, because I know it's just a phase.
But we've also set up our life like that. we've worked very hard. And we used to have this discussion all the time where, I mean, we actually get into big fights over Renae going, well, F it, I'll go get a job. Fine, I'll just go get a job. And then it turns into, okay, well.
Well, no, because to be clear, I have a job in our company.
Yes, of
and
course.
I have very clear responsibilities.
Yes, of course.
But sometimes it's really freaking hard to juggle it when your boss is your husband and you're working at home, and it's both a blessing and a struggle.
No, it is. And working together is hard. And believe me, if I was your boss, you'd have been fired a long fucking time ago. Because there is.
And if we were married, I would have quit working for you a long fucking time ago.
Oh my God, dude. Like when I see, like when Renae has had a job, I'm like, oh my God, she's so good.
When I have a boss that respects me and lets me do my own thing.
I don't respect
No, I shouldn't
you.
say that. That's unfair. That's unfair. I shouldn't say that.
But it is difficult to raise a woman because, and in my opinion, and again, all I can talk is from my heart, right? And in my opinion, that we have gotten to the point where the house mom doesn't get the respect that she deserves anymore.
For sure.
That woman, and to me, I think it's partially the female's fault. Oh, she stays home. Oh, she doesn't work. Oh, she's a house mom. And to me, it's like, hey man, being a housewife, handling the children, handling the home, handling a lot of what happens in the home is a very respectable, hard thing to do.
Yeah.
And that stay-at-home mom, to me, has just as much of a job as the woman that wakes up every day and goes to work, right? It's still a job.
Yeah.
It's still, and to me, I don't know what happened to where we got to a point where that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that is looked down upon, right? This, oh, well, she's a housewife. Well, dude, my sister for a long time was a housewife, and she's one of the most hardworking people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
And she's an amazing mom.
I don't know. I think it's coming back around. And I don't know, maybe if it's just because I'm sort of in the mom trenches at the moment that I feel like it's coming back around. But
So again, giving Delilah, this sense of worth, making sure that she's assertive, making sure that she's strong.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want to raise a sensitive little girl, right? I don't want to raise...
Yeah, no, for sure.
I don't want to raise a girl that hears something inappropriate and, oh my God, it's the end of the world.
I don't think we have to worry
Right?
about that. I think we're going to have to worry more about her saying inappropriate things growing up in this house.
But it goes back to Garrett, right? When Garrett comes to me, and the other day at baseball practice, somebody told Garrett he sucked, right? Uh-huh. And Garrett came to me and goes, Dad, so-and-so said I sucked, right? And I go, do you? Do you? I didn't run and talk to that kid. I didn't run and talk to that kid's parents. Right. I want Garrett to deal with it internally and know that, does that hurt you? Do you suck? He goes, no, Dad, I don't suck. I go, then why are you worried about it? Who cares?
Yeah.
Don't worry about, that somebody said you suck. Who cares? But at school, oh my God, what happened? And the teachers now, okay, well, we got to take this kid aside and get mad at that kid. And I'm like, no. I don't care. There's going to be people that tell you that you suck your whole life.
Yeah.
There's people that are going to tell you no your whole life. There's people that are going to tell you that you can't make it your entire life. And either you run and crumble and cry about it, or you realize inside of you internally that none of that can affect you.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, what can we take from your parents that raised this girl that sits in front of me, that's able to talk about her struggles with
I think lots of love.
Weight?
I think lots of love, because love equals confidence. And I just think as a woman, I think it's really important to not place your value in your looks, right? Like we all age and things happen, and I hope she's smart, I really hope she's smart, but I also think there's even more power in even if you aren't smart, in thinking that you're smart, because that's confidence too, right? That's what makes someone fearless. is in my opinion, is if you know you're smart, and if you're confident, then that breeds fearlessness too.
Well, and that's why the same thing I do with Garrett, I'm going to do with her is, the Treviño motto, right? We work hard and we never quit.
Yeah.
Right? That is my motto.
Yeah.
My motto is that we work hard and we never quit. And I always said from day one, I don't need my son to be president of the United States of America. I don't need him to be an astronaut. I don't need him to be, some intellectual, right?
Yeah.
I just want a son that works hard and does not quit.
Yeah.
And that even means that if he's the man that is the janitor at the high school, that man has a lot of worth. But show me that you never quit and you work hard at it.
Right.
So, and please don't think I'm talking poorly about janitors. I'm just saying that whatever job that my son does,
right,
I want him to work hard and never quit. And that's one thing that I want to, and for some reason, and I would probably say my dad instilled in me that work ethic.
Yeah.
Right. And we don't quit.
Right.
We are Treviños and we don't quit.
Right.
Nobody can make us quit. We get knocked down, we get back up. Somebody hits you, you hit them harder. And that's always been, and I'm the one that has turned it into a mantra, a motto.
Right.
Right. So every night, I pray with Garrett, and part of the prayer is, hey, God, please, help my son work hard and never quit.
Right.
So I want to put that in.
But also having the confidence that you're smart enough to make the right decisions, right?
Well, and I talk about that with Garrett all the time. And a lot of this stuff I hope to continue with Delilah, of course, right? And a lot of the things, and this comes from my dad as well, is that inside of you what is right and what is wrong, right? You just know.
Yeah.
When you're making a bad decision.
Believing in your internal compass,
yes.
Trusting your gut.
Yeah. If you know inside of you, I'm about to make this decision, I feel it. I know it's not the right decision. And being able to put that moral compass in my son and go, hey, dude, make the decision. But if it feels wrong, guess what? It's probably wrong.
But I feel like all the things you're saying for Garrett are great things for Delilah too.
Yes,
doesn't matter male versus female.
I don't disagree with that. But where it gets complicated is, like you said, your looks.
Yeah, looks and sexuality,
right?
and
your looks, right? Your how do you handle yourself if you're going to be a businesswoman?
Right.
Right?
It's totally fine for a guy to play with himself in public and scratch and itch in public, but God forbid a girl did that.
But also, teaching her to deal with situations where, hey, you know what? I remember. I mean, you're a good example. You can hang out with me and my friends, the guys, and laugh along and hang out. Yeah. And sometimes it gets inappropriate. And you'll speak up and you'll be like, oh, God, guys.
Yeah.
But none of us feel like, sensitive, girly Renae's here. You know what I mean? Like, nobody feels that. And I think that's a very good quality that you have. It's an attractive quality. It's a quality that, tells me, and it's not that you don't act like a lady.
Yeah.
Right. But you do have that fine line between, being able to handle things in a strong way.
Yeah.
Without crumbling, without, oh my God,
Yeah.
they said that to me. And it's like, who cares?
Right.
Let's just, so, when it comes to raising Delilah, I hope to find, somewhere between you and my sister Victoria.
Yeah.
My sister Victoria does know how to clean. You do not.
You make it sound like I never clean. I know how to clean. While you were gone this weekend, I wiped down all the bar stools because they were looking kind of dingy. So I wiped down the bar stools.
So proud of you.
That's hard.
Let's put that on the list of shit Renae does.
No, but I was home alone with 2 kids this weekend. So to manage to clean bar stools in the middle of it is pretty put it on the list.
Well, I will also say that, when it came to cleaning, I saw a change in you when we bought a home.
Yeah.
There was something about when we bought that home that made you have more pride.
Well, yeah, because I'm not moving out of it when the lease is up.
But we do anyway. I remodel them and we move. I remodel them, I fix them, we move, we rent it, and we keep going. Speaking of, so I got to crazy busy weekend this weekend, Thursday.
Yeah. Oh my God, those pictures were so cool.
Oh, you're going to go straight there? Well, I was going to talk about Odessa first.
Oh, okay, go for it. Talk about that so I can eat.
So...
Let me
You've been staring at your freaking protein bar forever.
I just want to eat it. You talk, I'll eat.
Well, no, so I had Odessa on a Thursday. I was really worried about it. I'm like, oh man, like Thursday in Odessa, right? Mm-hmm. And then remember, we had another gig in Midland. So for those of you that don't know, Odessa, Midland is basically...
How far are they from each other?
15, 20 minutes.
I don't know my geography.
15, 20 minutes. And they're the only people out there. Like it's... their own little island,
Yeah.
But we did the Ector Theater, and I was the first act that they ever had. As they reopened it, It's beautiful theater, top of the line. Mm-hmm. I get there, and I was just so impressed with the city of Odessa. They had people to welcome me. They have a new Marriott there that is beautiful. They put me in a suite. I walk in the suite, and there is Timmy calls me gift bags, right? Because there's always a gift bag nowadays, right? Uh-huh. There's always something waiting for me. So what surprised me was, not only was there something waiting for me, the city of Odessa sent me an entire bag with goodies in it. And not when I say goodies, I'm not like snacks.
Yeah.
I'm talking like T-shirts and...
leather-bound notebooks.
Notebooks. And it was just such a class move from Odessa. Mm-hmm. And I was just kind of like, wow, like, man, what a great move from the city, to welcome me to town. And the show turned out to be freaking awesome.
So is it like it's a city theater?
Yeah,
it's a private theater? Okay.
But what's great is it's connected to the hotel.
That's
so
crazy.
I would leave the hotel and just walk to the venue. So it was nice, right?
Like convention center style, right? The way
kind of like a convention center. So that was Thursday, and then Friday we have the Rusty Bucket, and the barbecue's fantastic, and we were already sold out there, and it was an outdoor type of situation, honky tonk type of situation, and that show was awesome. I mean, I had a great time doing it. However, it was straight to bedtime.
Yeah.
Because I had to wake up at 4:30 in the morning to get on a plane in Midland, Odessa, to then fly to, I'm not supposed to say the location.
Oh.
Let's just say I flew halfway across the country to perform for Tony Robbins.
I didn't realize the location was private. Why is that private? Because it's like personal space?
Yeah, it's like their studio, like...
Got it.
But I get there, and it's right off the plane, straight to rehearsal. Uh-huh. They wanted me to talk a little bit about my career and more so about, my ability to not quit. Okay. Right. And that, we ended up doing our specials on our own, and we found our way from not quitting. Right.
So it wasn't stand up.
It was stand up.
Oh, it was.
But they wanted me to talk a little bit about, my career and how I have succeeded.
Okay.
Right. And then I went right into the stand-up and completely clean. But I'm in this like studio, and it's like this 360 studio, and it's like movie screens in a kind of concaved, and
the curved TVs,
but a freaking giant movie screen size on both sides of me, and they have all these people from all over the world, like Skyped in or Zoomed in.
I saw that picture. That picture's so awesome on Instagram. So you can see all those faces, and that's live.
They're live. They're all watching it. I mean, it was. I think I want to say it was like 4,000 people from across. Their little image is up there, and there's cameras everywhere. And I had to, perform and provide them.
And this is how Tony Robbins has adjusted his conventions, like in a COVID world.
Yes.
Okay.
So now he does them live in front of Zooms, right? But the funny part is, I was doing rehearsal during break. So they're like, all right, everybody take, their 20-minute break or whatever. And everybody's camera's still on. So like one dude's got his foot up on the table, clipping his toenails. Like, somebody else is eating chips and dip, somebody else is playing with their dog.
And I'm you can see it.
You see them all. And you're like, do they not know
That's
that
hilarious.
We're all watching you?
Yeah.
Right. And then I was talking to the guy. I go, do they not know we're watching? And he's like, he's like, I don't think they do. Cause he's like, we've had people like changing in the background. like they have no idea. But it was a crazy experience. I left Midland, Odessa at 4:30 in the morning, flew halfway across the country, woke up at 4:30 to then come back.
To get home.
To get home to you. But it was just a really neat experience. And
did you get to see other people who were speaking or interact with other speakers, or they kind of keep it all separate?
Well, that's what I was going to say. So the next thing was that, because I got there, they wanted me there 30 minutes before rehearsal. You're watching what everybody's watching. Right. So I got to see a couple of speakers talking about finance, talking about specifically real estate, and I got to tell you, man, it was one of those where I'm like, man, the energy that they have with it, right? Like this, they're woo and everybody stretch and everybody clap and here we go. And like, it's just, it's like a freaking show.
Yeah.
So then, I'm waiting in the green room to go up. And then the guy before me is specifically talking about how to create wealth with very little money. Right. So, I'm watching this and it's interesting. And you're like, oh, man, I didn't know that. And, oh, you could do that. Or, him specifically talking about, finance and where to invest and where he thinks you should invest if you have very little money. Right.
Yeah.
And then people get to ask questions. It was a really, really cool experience for me. I would like to do it for Tony Robbins, but live, right? Because, Rick and I were talking about it very briefly. People have no idea how hard it is to perform not in front of an audience.
Yeah.
I feel like when COVID first happened, everyone was like, oh, just do a Zoom show. Just do a Zoom show. Like,
and I'm like, you don't understand.
Stand in front of a computer screen and do a show.
And there's something about, and even me, I've been doing this for 20 years, I still felt inside of me like, oh my God, like I'm eating it right now. Because you don't hear anything. Like I'm performing, and I could see people like clapping, I could see people, laughing as they're watching, but when you're not getting that immediate laugh,
feedback,
it really feels shitty.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I wonder how much of it is just like a human self-consciousness and how much of it is an actual like timing and skill thing.
Well, and luckily, like I said, I've been doing it so long that I just did my bits. I know they work, right? And I had to fight through the don't give up.
Yeah.
Don't look defeated.
Don't bail.
Don't look defeated. Because I felt defeated. When I'm up there and nobody's laughing, it feels like defeat. And it feels horrible.
Yeah.
Which goes back to like, me and Ty Rivera were talking about it. I've had maybe 3 to 4 experiences where I didn't make people laugh in my entire career. And it was the worst feeling I've ever had.
Yeah.
I would walk on that stage like I always do, confident, I know I'm funny, and crickets. And they're not getting it. And they're uncomfortable. And the feeling that and it sucks because so many comedians talk about, you know how it is, Steve, when you, in the beginning, when you don't get any laughs, and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Other than 4 times in 20 years.
Yeah.
And I watched guys, as you know, all the comedy clubs I've been to, and I've spent so many hours in the Comedy Store, in the Improv, the Laugh Factory, the Ha Ha. You know how many hours upon hours, the Ice House, hours upon hours of sitting there, either watching open mics, watching lineups, and watching guys eat it. That's what we call it, eating shit, right?
Yeah.
Watching guys eat shit night after night after night. And I'm sitting there going, that's happened to me 4 times. And if it happens to me again, I'm freaking quitting.
Yeah.
The feeling is so horrible that the fact that some of these guys do it every night.
Yeah.
You know, and then there is moments where some of these guys, you realize that they don't know they're bad. That's why they keep doing it. Like they'll get off stage and they're like, hey man, you see my set?
Yeah.
And I'm like, did you? Did you see your set?
Because it takes a big, you have to have a lot of confidence and ego to get up on stage and do that and to keep doing it.
It is, and a lot of those guys are now gone. A lot of those guys no longer do stand up, and who knows where they are today. Yeah. But several of them, several of them stayed not good and have a career. And it's unbelievable to me that they have zero. They're
well, I'm sure they work hard just in different ways, right? They work on other things other than the stand-up that make a career. The business side of it.
Yeah, like being friends with the right people, right?
Well, the business side of it. Right, there's lots of that.
But there are guys that I watched, you know, hammer it out year after year where, you know, now one of them in particular, I'm not gonna name any names, but worst comic I had ever seen eating it on stage.
Yeah.
And now he's one of the biggest comics in the country right now, and in his defense, very funny.
Yeah.
Like very fun. I mean, really good at what he does.
Right.
But I remember, 15 years ago, sitting in the Comedy Store going, what's happening right now?
Right.
Why is this guy continuing to do it? And then you saw over time,
because he believed he was talented,
and he was, and he is.
And stand up is like, I don't even know who you're talking about, but like stand up is a very different monster.
It's very hard.
And you can be a talented performer or entertainer in other ways, but stand up is like its own different thing. It's an art.
But that's why, yes, you are correct, and that's why I have always said that a stand up is your best actor. Because actors can act, but they can't do stand-up. Because it's the hardest thing to do.
Oh, I think they're completely different things, Steve.
No.
Yes.
No.
I think what you were doing on stage is completely different than acting.
When you watch people like Robin Williams and their ability to connect and their ability to
he's a phenomenal actor and a phenomenal comedian.
But he came from comedy. You can always teach a comedian how to act.
Yeah.
You can't teach an actor how to do comedy.
I don't know. Then how do you explain Chris Rock?
Chris Rock is a comedian and an amazing comedian.
He's not an amazing actor, in my opinion.
No.
That's my opinion. But
he can act. You find me an actor that turned comedian, please.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
It's comics are, and we have, they always talk about in acting, dig deep. Right?
Yeah.
They always tell actors, go dig deep.
Well, comics usually have a deep well already.
We're already a mess.
Yeah.
We are already very, very deep down. I always tell people, when the guy that is positive, the guy that's making you laugh at the party, the guy that's the most fun is usually the guy that has the most pain.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that.
Yeah.
People go, but he's always so happy. People that are so concerned with everybody else's happiness are usually the ones with the most deep, sad soul.
Yeah.
Well, this is a episode that we did on our own.
I know, and we didn't have Rick here to remind us about our sponsors.
Well, we're going to do it right now. Okay. Aztec Chevrolet, as always, and I'm very excited because we are going to film a commercial for Aztec Chevrolet,
yes.
a TV commercial. So our friends at Aztec Chevrolet, thank you so much. I was browsing their vehicles yesterday with Phil and Tatiana because Phil's thinking about getting a Chevy Tahoe. I talked to Jerry, and Jerry's like, man, Steve, we're doing so great. We're just low on inventory. He's like, we're selling vehicles like crazy.
Sounds like that's a good problem to have.
It's a great problem to have. Yeah. So please, let's sell out Aztec Chevrolet. Give them a call. And then, of course, oldsaltcoffee.com. Put in Trevino. You get 10% off.
It's Treviño 10 is
Treviño
the code.
10.
Yes.
Don't do Trevino. How do you spell Treviño? So Treviño 10. And then a big shout out to the family, the primo, the cousin, Jose Trevino, catching for the Texas Rangers, man. I'm so proud of you, buddy. Check them out.
Oh, and I want to say thank you to people who donated to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society on our behalf. If you guys donate, please make sure, because we want to be able to thank you and share that. So make sure when you donate on the page that you give us your Instagram handle so we can thank you as well.
Okay, not to put you on the spot. And this was something else I wanted to talk about. We're going to end the episode with this.
Okay.
And I want you to read it.
Not to put me on the spot. Okay.
We get so many fantastic messages, as you know. And then I got this message and I go, we have to read it on the air.
Okay.
So read that. This is on my Instagram. Go ahead. I would read it.
Do we want to say his name or no?
Yeah, you can say his name because he actually.
Did he say it's okay for us to read it? Okay. Robert Draper said, "Hi, Steve. I'm a newly engaged man, and your specials have made me and my fiance cry laughing and point at each other going, that's definitely you. I'm also a regular listener on the podcast and love all your specials YouTube bits. I wanted to thank you and your wife for bringing awareness to leukemia and how it affects everyday families. A little one in my family is on her 3rd round of battling leukemia, and the laughs you bring us are beyond appreciated. She's the sweetest little girl with a heart of gold and has a dream of swimming with dolphins in Hawaii. If there's any way you could mention it on your podcast or any other platform, please do so. She doesn't come from much. She has a great support system and a very loving family. Thank you again for any help you can provide and keep bringing the laughs. We all need it. You're awesome." And then he linked to an Eagle Country online news website about a local girl battling leukemia for the 3rd time, and she has a dream to swim with dolphins.
Well, we get messages like that. And So one of the things that Renae doesn't know we're going to do when she's ready, I'm going to donate all of my American Airlines miles. So if you're listening, I'm happy to donate all of my American Airlines miles, and that should be enough for probably about 2 round trip tickets to Hawaii. So me and you will do that.
That's awesome.
So
that's awesome.
Keep fighting, young lady, and we love you.
And you guys, please go to there's a link in our bio, both in my Instagram bio and in your Instagram bio, where people can go to the page and donate. And just, it doesn't have to be a big donation. Literally, just like any little donation makes a difference.
Awesome. Well, I am Steve Trevino, and that is Captain Evil, Renae Trevino. And if you look back at some of the episodes, she wore that blouse before.
It's because my clothing rental box didn't come in.
Bye, guys.